The very public trials of Michael Jackson eventually took their toll.
I was really struck by the razor stubble, all along his face. It was, he hadn't shaved that morning.
Brian Monroe sat down with Michael Jackson in September 2007 for Ebony magazine. The interview would be Jackson's last.
The trials hurt him to the core. He felt betrayed. He felt almost abandoned, even though he was acquitted of his charges. And a lot of people sort of paint him with that brush, but realized he was found not guilty.
Jackson needed to put distance between him and the taint of Neverland. So off he went to the island nation of Bahrain.
Michael Jackson all but disappeared. And there's a lot of mysterious phases of Michael Jackson's career, but the last three are particularly mysterious. He moved to Bahrain with his kids, then moved back.
Bahrain and back again. The king of pop was now a king in debt. A lavish lifestyle and legal woes led him into near financial ruin.
After the trial, he had spent a lot of money on lawyers and had very little coming in. He wasn't touring, he wasn't making new records, and he had this towering $270 million debt.
And his beloved Neverland was toxic asset number one.
Neverland, which cost him around $19 million in 1987, had a staff of about 150 at its peak, and all these carnival rides, exotic animals which required full-time veterinary care. It cost him around $10 million to keep that up at its peak.
$10 million a year he could no longer afford, so an auction of his most personal items seemed like the answer, from his sequin glove to a life-size replica of Darth Vader made of Legos. Things ultimately Michael would not give up.
He backed out of the auction. So when you're selling your furniture to make money, it's like, yeah, it's not exactly a yard sale, but he definitely felt a dire need for cash.
Michael had another money-making trick up his sleeve.
I was looking at an old Rolling Stone article from a few years ago, and someone said, you'll really know that Michael Jackson is broke when he announces a big European tour. And that's what happened.
I'll be performing the songs my fans want to hear.
At the same time he was announcing these shows, and he also made sure to say that these were the final shows.
This is it. I mean, this is really it. This is the final curtain call.
That's not really a comeback when it's your farewell. That was a very odd appearance that he felt it necessary to say, this is the goodbye.
Fans wanted their last goodbye. Tickets sold out within hours. But some wondered whether he could pull off a strenuous 50-concert tour.
Wow, 50 dates? 50 dates at 50 years old? That's a lot of dates. And I was, I kept saying, I just hope he gets a physical trainer, someone to really work him out, to make sure he's healthy and prepared.
It's hard looking at the guy being pushed around in a wheelchair, looking so thin and fragile. It was just very difficult to imagine that this was a guy who was ready to come back and do an amazing series of 50 concerts and then more across the world, which was the plan. It just didn't seem possible.
But Jackson was born to perform, and the show must go on.
I think he spent a lot of internal time reflecting on who he was, where he had been. At the end, he talked about his mortality, and he said that no one wants to be mortal. We all want to be immortal. And the only way that you become immortal is that your work lives on.
Jackson, in his last interview with Ebony.
Well, let's face it, I mean, who wants mortality? I mean, everybody wants immortality. You want what you create to live, be it sculpture or painting or music or composition. Like Michelangelo, he said, I know the creator will go, but his work survives. That is why to escape death, I attempt to bind my soul to my work.
When we return, Michael on stage the night before he died.